This show is brought to you by Loud and Opinionated.
Welcome to the Loud Sports Football
Loud
Podcast.
Sports, yeah.
Loud Sports for January 28th. I'm Paul Rubidoux here with Jake Williams
What's up?
and Brandon Plecker.
Hey.
All right, so NFC Championship game, guys. It was a little over a week ago, but there's been a lot to talk about, and nobody's been talking about basically anything but the championship games all week. So what did you see?
I saw that the Saints did exactly what I thought they would do because the Rams are just a better team, and they showed it because they could have folded easily there. And after that first half, the Saints score. They go up by 10 points. They were up 13 at one point, and after that, the Saints couldn't do anything, and the Rams dominated that game. Regardless of the it was a bad call, but the Saints also did things to hurt themselves and lose that game. Like, why would you first down under 2 minutes in on the 20, I think was it 20, 17, 20 in that area or something like that, and you throw it on first down? Even though you couldn't run the ball, that doesn't matter. Just kill clock. The interception in overtime, that's not Drew Brees' fault, but it wasn't a good pass. Granted, he was getting hit. He should have just took the sack, but I don't know. I think people are discrediting what the Rams did because of a bad pass interference call. And the Kansas City Chiefs can't play defense. That's what I got from this week, this past 2 weeks.
Well, I think with the Saints, I think the better play calling one.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, when it comes down to coaching, because, there is the pass interference call, and that really sucked. But Saints had the ball in overtime. They had a chance to win the game.
That's why I think the Rams were the better team too.
Yeah,
I think it was. You could tell by the end of the game that the Rams were better. Obviously it was. That call was a huge call, but there was other. You
There's
can't
a
blame it all on
missed
one.
face
You can't blame it all
mask
on one call.
There's
Right.
always missed calls.
Yeah, that happens every game.
It's a human element I'm sorry. The Saints are being real terrible losers. They act like they're the only team in the history of sports to lose a game like
but
that.
this has happened to them 2 years in a row. They had the Minneapolis Miracle
That's not
last
a penalty,
year.
though.
It's not a penalty, but it's the heartbreak in the playoffs.
Yeah. Also, keep in mind, I'm a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan, so I don't like the Saints at all. So take what I say with a grain of salt.
I love the Saints, but what I love is I love me some C.J. Anderson. C.J. Anderson was great. And C.J. Anderson is like that underdog dude that comes up big in a Super Bowl that has the backstory this year. He was cut. Like David Tyree. Like, he wasn't drafted.
Yeah.
He's going to come up big, and he could be the reason they beat the Patriots. It could happen, and it would be C.J. Anderson.
I think that's the most frustrating thing. There's 3 teams that I was really rooting for. There's 3 teams I was like, this is going to be a fun Super Bowl. And the one team that nobody wanted to see is there. And the worst part of it is they've got this huge chip on their shoulder for no reason. It's like,
I think there's a little reason to it.
yeah, that they
There's some this year.
sure,
and
there was criticism this year, but they act like
I think they redirect.
they're the underdog
hate.
because they were picked. 3 points was the line in that game? They were 3-point underdogs, so they got a fucking chip on their shoulder.
I mean,
give me a break.
If any other team got to play the Bills, Dolphins, and Jets twice a year, they could win 10 games too.
I'm just saying this is the problem with fandom. This is so unfair that I have to watch the New England Patriots be that good.
Well, that's why you just bide your time for one of your teams, except if
been
you're a
holding-
Buccaneers fan.
Been
It
carrying
just
that
doesn't
torch
happen.
since 2000. Oh, give me a break.
It just comes.
I'm sorry.
It comes in cycles.
You got one 8 years ago. Good on you. 9 years ago. Good on you.
Yeah, rode the wave. Rode it for like 5 years off of one Super Bowl, and now we're back to hoping staying above mediocrity next year for the Packers.
Welcome to my hell.
Hopefully we make the
every-
playoffs again.
Yeah,
Every season. My team hasn't been in the playoffs since 2007.
We're still not at the level of hell of Jameis Winston as a starting quarterback. We've been incredibly blessed with quarterback, and that time's coming, man.
Can we stay on topic?
We're on NFL.
I fucking hate you guys.
Because
NFC.
yeah, NFC. There we go. Well, when Rodgers was, or when Favre was
Jesus
Rodgers'
Christ.
age.
Hold on, let me get a stopwatch.
When Favre was Rodgers' age, they drafted Rodgers. So it's time. That's it. We're back. We're back.
What about Trevor Lawrence?
Oh, Trevor. I don't think we'll be able to.
You don't think we'll be that bad?
I don't think we'll be able to swing that pick when it comes to that.
You'll have to have a pretty good pick to trade with, and if you're
baby, Tampa Bay, keep failing.
If you're 11-5, it's pretty hard to get a good enough pick for that number 1.
Yeah,
pick.
unless you trade with Jon Gruden, and then it might work out for you.
Slapping stickers on
Oh
the
my God.
helmet.
Yes,
Every
he did.
college,
He was
yes, I saw that.
the
That was
guys
funny.
that he wanted. He was putting Raiders.
They all had Raiders stickers. His entire team.
That man is not real. He is a football gremlin.
No, he's what happens if you give a 13-year-old Madden junkie a football team. He really is.
Hey,
Because
he won his championship.
half
Won a
of
Super Bowl.
more than half of the times I play Madden, my plan is gut it, draft a quarterback, and move to a new city. And that's really what I do, And that's what he's doing. He is just a kid.
Paul, you are not Jon Gruden.
Here's
Stop
the great.
comparing
Here's
yourself
the
to
great
Jon
thing. You know who
Gruden.
needs to hear that? You know who needs to hear that is Mark Davis. Because if Mark Davis looks in a mirror and he thinks he looks like Jon Gruden, have you seen side by side the Raiders owner and head coach? They both have that blonde hair. He's like, yeah, man, I look like Gruden.
Do you follow Faux Gruden on Twitter?
No,
You have to follow Faux Gruden.
but I bet I'd like that guy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, I tell you.
He'll say stupid shit. I got to pull up his tweets. Because I didn't think it was, I thought it was a little overboard. But since he's gone back to coaching, Jon Gruden's a madman. He is a full-on gremlin.
He makes his brother look smart. You always thought
It
that
sounded like Alex Jones. He's a goddamn gremlin.
you you always thought that John was kind of the lesser achiever of the Grudens because of the Super Bowl, but I mean John builds a 7-9 to 9-7 team, and
Jay, you're talking about?
thank you, Jay. Yeah,
Excuse me.
in Washington,
Yeah.
and we don't know if John's going to be able to do that then in
Yeah.
Las Vegas.
Listen,
He cares about nothing before Las Vegas.
this is some Faux Gruden tweets.
okay.
Wow. Overtime in the NFC Championship. This is like finding 7 nuggets in your 6 nuggets. 6 piece McNugget meal. Man, pass the sour sauce.
What?
And then the next game went to overtime, and he's like, wow, make that an 8 McNuggets, man. What a time to be alive.
That's not as good as Captain Andrew Luck.
I need to
That is
follow
funny.
one.
Captain Andrew Luck
funny.
is outstanding.
I tell you
Yeah,
what, Drew
that's
Brees
hilarious.
is like a surgeon out there picking apart the Rams defense. Is this the NFC Championship or that Grey's Anatomy show? Get me a scalpel, man.
I'll tell you, man.
Because you can imagine him saying stupid shit like that.
Yeah, that's Grudenisms.
One more. The Eagle has landed, man. The Saints go marching into the next round. Wow. How wild would it be to watch the Saints play in March? Think about that for a second.
I just imagine
Saints go
Gruden
marching in.
with 2 overtime championship games. Gruden, his face is just just a meme, just excitement, like
Yeah.
like
They
that
call him
guy.
Chucky. You know that?
Yeah, he's like they call his son Deuce because his name is John. What is more John Gruden than the second your son comes out of the womb saying, "I tell you, this guy, he's gonna be a D1 quarterback." And he says,
Pass me a pigskin,
"We're
man.
gonna- this Deuce right here, I tell you, did he say that it was this Deuce that his wife popped out?"
Why is this the John
No,
Gruden
I
segment?
swear to God, no. They call his son is Deuce because he is junior, and that was mind blowing about John
You really
Gruden. 'cause
thought that he thinks his son is a
it,
turd?
it really shows me that what you think of his football persona is him as an actual
Oh,
real life
yeah.
person. Like
You're
this
crying.
is. Oh, I thought that was hilarious. Yeah.
I just love the fact that I'm gonna have to make a clip of this. Like, Jon Gruden is a football gremlin, and just because this
Deuce
is like
Gruden.
10 minutes.
Deuce Gruden.
Deuce Gruden is the clip name.
Deuce Gruden. We didn't even make it to the AFC Championship game on the outline. So AFC Championship game. Let me start with this. Which overtime did you prefer from an excitement standpoint of an objective football fan? Brandon.
Excitement, the Rams one, obviously, because we all kind of, I feel like a lot of people, especially in the game, knew that the first team to get the ball in the AFC was going to win because you didn't see any defense stop in the fourth. There was
Right.
40 points scored
It
in
was
the
an
fourth
offensive
quarter.
game.
There's
Yeah.
3 lead changes.
Early in the game, there was more defense, but in the fourth quarter, it was all up and down the field. They never stopped them. So you kind of had that feeling that the team that got the ball was going to win the game because no defense had shown they could stop.
I'd
And
agree with you.
I would say that the Rams game was more fun to watch as a fan.
To an extent, I would say like what you say about the AFC game happened in the NFC game. Like when the Saints gave up the ball, did it really feel like they were going to get it back?
No.
No.
Well,
No.
that's why I was so upset about the pass interference call. It's they still kicked a field goal and had a lead, and they couldn't hold the lead.
From the LA referees.
But they still played defense after that, and they still
The
could have got
teams
a
knew
stop.
about that before they even said in the media. All the Saints players knew that they were California people, and they still that never came up.
I don't believe
until
in conspiracy
recently.
theories.
I believe in too many conspiracy theories.
You think this is a plan by Roger Goodell to get an LA team in the Super Bowl?
Absolutely. Why wouldn't you want an LA market in
But
the
why
Super
would he
Bowl?
go up against the Patriots?
There's no way you could know that was going to happen.
You can if you fix it, like the NBA. The
You
NBA
can't f-
rigs
how
stuff
can you
all the
fix
time.
it, man.
How can you fix that?
It's
You
harder.
don't
It's
know-
harder to fix a football game.
You don't know how players are going to react. You don't know what coaches are going to call. There's no way he can make that.
I need an X Files bumper.
You're so full of shit.
I think it.
I don't mean to curse on the show, but
It wouldn't be that hard to believe if Roger Goodell did try to make an LA market. You know, like the NBA has always tried to make the Knicks a better team, even though they just trip over themselves year after year, and they just refuse to be a functioning franchise. The NBA has always tried to push the Knicks to become like better than what they are, and I could see them doing
because
that.
they're in New York.
Exactly. So it's about the market size. So I could see them doing that for LA, especially because they are going to have the Super Bowl as soon as that stadium is built.
They do that. That's how it's been the last 5 years, though. Brand new stadiums are being built, and they're playing the Super Bowls there.
Yeah,
It's not different.
Yeah, but this is the market, the biggest market of any of those.
Well, that's because it's the biggest market in the country. Like,
For
you can't,
sure.
it doesn't,
Second biggest.
well, yeah.
Well,
But
that's not fair. It's LA. yeah.
Exactly, but that's my point entirely, is that it is LA, and that LA will get that special
but
treatment.
I would
because
never,
when has a city this size just gotten a new sports franchise?
it was
in
weird
that
that
sport?
LA didn't have a football team this entire time. I agree
Oh,
that
yeah,
was weird.
it's
But
'cause Al Davis moved away.
I would never believe that someone would have that ability to rig a game like that with so many different things that have to happen a certain way for you to say that, you know what I mean? Like, he had to have known what Sean Payton was going to call, what the players were going to do, when the ball, like all that stuff. You
Or
don't
it
know.
just has to be up to the refs to know this is that moment where we just don't see this. And that's it. Everybody plays their heart out, man. I'm not saying they don't.
you know,
Everybody plays their heart out.
Conspiracy theories are fun, but
I
they're
would never
never
believe
right,
that.
man. Come on.
Okay, switching overtimes. AFC, should the Chiefs have gotten the ball?
I had a different stance on this, and Paul actually changed my mind. I have never liked the NFL rules. I thought that they should have been closer to what college does. Maybe not. I don't even like the 25 in college. I would say the 50. You're just playing half court basketball at that point, but it's exciting. But Paul made a good point where it's like we can't do that in this situation. Like there has to be a winner decided
quickly.
quickly. Yeah, it's a championship game. We got to get it done because
They don't want to injure the product that's going to happen the next week.
right.
Oh, yeah, that could happen on any
And that's
play.
why they take ties, just because they don't want to play an extra overtime.
Yeah.
And
It is called sudden death elimination in the NFL, or sudden death overtime, whichever one the official name is. There's a point where you gotta keep that sudden death. That's the excitement. And
Exactly.
You run it.
I like-
you run
I-
back the kick.
Personally, I like the NFL rule in the playoffs.
I enjoy
In the
college
playoffs, yeah.
as
in the
well.
regular season, I don't like that it just ends.
Yeah,
I don't like ties.
tie. That's
I don't
stupid.
like ties. So, but in the playoffs they don't have ties, so they just keep
Right.
going, and I like that more than I like the regular season. But I have
Oh,
no
yeah.
problem with the actual NFL overtime rule.
to where one team might not get the ball.
Yeah, I think where it is right now with if you stop a field or hold them to a field goal, then you get the ball because you kind of did stop them because they could kick a field goal from the 35-yard
Right.
line. So I like that part that they added that recently.
Yeah,
but
I agree. I like that little asterisk.
Yeah.
It does give the other team the chance if you get the field goal. Yeah.
But yeah, I conceded my point. I never do that, but Paul convinced me that that's the right way to go. And we had it back and forth.
This is man's sport. This is what it's
We had-
about.
well,
it comes down to one
next
play.
basket
you get
wins.
beat,
That's how
man.
and pick up at its next basket
it
wins.
can't.
Well, we
you
had
can't
the-
play NBA overtime with just one next bucket wins.
Well,
First bucket of overtime.
I mean, like hockey does sudden death overtime.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure soccer does. don't
Penalty
they?
kicks.
Yeah.
If
Penal-
you get
no,
past an
no,
overtime,
but in
They only do
overtime they are
extra
sudden
time.
death, and then if it gets to the end of that quarter, then they do sudden
so
death.
do we do like a penalty kick?
That's what
something
I
in-
want. What
for
my
NFL
suggestion.
regular
My
season?
suggestion is field goal kickoff.
I love it
You start at like a 25-yard field goal, and then you go to a 30-yard field goal
with your quarterback.
with whatever. I mean, I would not say something
okay,
like that.
but with your kicker.
With your kicker, you just keep going,
Yeah.
and then when someone misses, that's it.
Oh, it's like a
Just-
shootout.
Yeah, like a shootout or a penalty kick.
but
Shootout
like
with field
after a
goals.
15-minute
After the
overtime.
10-minute overtime period or whatever you
Okay.
have.
Oh
Yeah.
So it's a shootout because that's
It's
what they
exactly
do in,
like
soccer
like
and
a
hockey.
soccer or a hockey overtime.
Oh man, so you got that poor kicker for 15 minutes,
And he never plays.
sweating his
Yeah.
butt off,
Never does. Shit.
just being like, man, I hope they scored. Man, I hope
Somebody-
they scored.
I
Somebody
can't do this.
Oh man, that would be.
Think about. So let's go back to the Green Bay Minnesota game
There'd
and
be
how that
so
overtime.
many more kickers
you know
fired
how-
in the regular
You know
season.
how the Minnesota kicker missed the kick right before the tie.
Yeah.
If that would have happened, even more because he just missed the kick and that one kick would have won, and now he's in a shootout
Yes.
situation.
Yes. So you miss the overtime kick and then you get sent into
To do this huge.
your job
Yeah.
application. Like it's just oh my god. I like that.
That's so
let's
ridiculous.
petition
It
that.
wouldn't
We'll write
happen
it up.
very often.
We'll
It
write
wouldn't
it
happen at all.
It wouldn't happen very
No,
often because
but-
think about
but
the ties, but it would be a
it's-
really cool thing that
it is-
did happen.
It is NFL app and Bleacher Report red alert notification. We got a shootout. There's 2 minutes left of
Yeah,
this overtime.
exactly.
Get on your phone. And I would stop what I'm doing, even if there were only 5. It can be San Francisco and Arizona in a West Divisional game. I'm here for the shootout. I love it, Brandon.
I think I came up with that like a couple weeks ago. And I
Oh.
think it's so cool.
I write it down.
Now I need to have a big idea because now he's got this. You got the realignment.
That's better than any suggestion Mike Greenberg has ever made to fix an NFL game. What you gave right there.
I think it's cool.
Oh,
same rules
And
for
it
college.
puts so
too.
much pressure. And
it's applicable.
yeah.
Like it's very
And
applicable.
and the reason and it makes me think of it because of hockey and how they just do that.
shootout. Yeah.
Yeah, and I like that because it's a physical sport just like football is,
But the
or
ar-
soccer is a physical sport just like football. And then basketball and baseball, they continue to play until someone actually
Right.
wins. But in the physical sports, they just say, "All right, score," and we'll see who wins
But the argument is
without any more physical activity.
any of my soccer players on the field can make that kick. Any of my hockey players can realistically
have
be in
one
a
player
shootout.
to do
You got
this.
one kicker, and
Maybe-
he's done nothing besides this. So
Make
do
your
you
make
make-
your other players
do
be
you
able
make
to
it
kick.
a
You should
gimmick
alternate
rule?
your punter and your kicker.
Have an extra kicker on your team if you
An
need
extra
if you
kick.
got-
that's too much.
No, but you're not worried about
Your
it.
shootout kicker.
Do you think that you're gonna have?
Or you could swap.
And
in your-
Dominican Sue was an emergency place kicker for the Detroit Lions.
Oh my gosh.
He was actually kind of good at kicking field goals.
And Dominican Sue is good at everything.
I believe that no disrespect to kickers, but I believe that a high level athlete could become able to realistically kick 30-yarders.
All kickers are
35s.
all kickers are very athletic. They are very athletic.
I bet
players.
most NFL running backs with training and practice could kick 35-yard field goals.
I would say receivers better than running backs
Okay.
because I think they're more agile.
What about
and
your calves though? I'm talking about those tree trunks.
yeah, but those guys can still jump, so they still got. They have strong calves.
like maybe Jacksonville would have made a Super Bowl if Maurice Jones-Drew was their
yeah,
kicker.
that's an exception.
Adrian Peterson takes Minnesota to the Super Bowl off of kicking a field goal. That would be incredible.
Legitimately carrying
Chad
the
Johnson
team.
kicked an extra point in a preseason
Man,
game.
we're on a great topic here because I even have this on here. One rule you can change on the NFL. Brandon, is that your rule?
Yeah, that
That's
would be
it
my
right
rule.
there.
That's it. I love it. I'm
That's
here.
high concept.
I'm here. I love it. How about you, Jake?
Because
We had a pass interference call that was questionable,
Okay.
and we had an overtime.
Let me take a stance here. This is a rule I don't want changed, and I don't. So in a way, this is the one rule I can change because they're talking about it. I'm doing it the opposite way. I'm just fucking with you. I think that we should not be allowed to review pass interference penalties because I don't think you should be able to review any penalty because it's going to break up the flow of the game, and it's going to break it up even worse than it is, and it's going to be used for strategy. So, excuse me, I had a burp. If you're going to compare it to anything, you're going to hate this, but Colin Cowherd said it, and it was true. It's like, then you're going to see a guy throw a challenge flag and be like, yeah, let's look down here. Like, they're going to get super into the weeds about the rules and be like, pretty sure he was pass interference.
That's
over
why
there.
That's why you don't up the amount of challenges given to coaches. You just say, yeah, everything's reviewable. Here's your 2+1.
I think the game has become too complicated.
How
for
often?
its own good.
How often does a coach use a challenge in the first half compared to like the last 2 minutes of a game? Honestly,
They can.
Honestly, you don't even see challenge flags that often.
yeah.
But I think if you were able to challenge penalties, you would
It's a
you
slip-
wouldn't see it until the end of the game
It's a
because
slippery
that's when it's
slope, yeah.
more.
So that's how you keep it
It has to be the
from
2
over.
minutes?
That's how you keep it from. No, not even that. Just the number of challenges given to coaches, and there's nothing more. There's no more number of reviews. It's just
Challenges count towards
I think
penalties
you can
and
challenge
plays on the field.
everything that is called or placed or named or anything.
Here's the problem. It's getting too complicated. The game, they're making everything. You can't touch a quarterback now. You
It's
can't.
all offensive based. Same thing baseball did.
Oh yeah, to make it more points. I get it, more entertaining. But the game is fine the way it is. I don't think it needs to be changed like that because you can't it's just gonna be like that where it's gonna be complete strategy and you'd have to. Well, did he do it with this much time left? And then we're gonna have even more stoppage of games. I mean, half the time I'm watching a football game, I'm sitting there going, I don't know. Is that a catch? Is his knee down? Like, it slows the game.
I would have been okay with Sean Payton being able to throw a challenge flag on that pass interference though. Like you don't change
You
anything.
can't eliminate missed calls though.
That's
You
what
can't,
you're
but
not.
I think
You're
you
just
should be able
giving
to
the
eliminate
challenge
calls that
flag. You're
maybe
just
like that.
yeah. You're just expanding
When it's almost
the challenging on the field.
just like a play where
Again, I just
it's
think it's a
blatantly
slippery
obvious.
slope.
I agree with you, and that's why you limit it to the number of challenges that a coach has. You just change what he can challenge.
Just doing it in general is not a good idea, but for very specific things, it could be a good option for it to make sure things are done correctly and no one would ever complain.
So
Mhm.
yeah,
They wouldn't complain as much about stuff like that.
I did it an opposite way, but that is a rule I don't want changed.
Mhm. One rule I really like, and the Baltimore Ravens tried to institute this and like brought it before. They brought it before the owners and the board of whatever the rules. The Baltimore owner brought it before them because their kicker's so strong, Justin Tucker, who I always try to take for fantasy, that they wanted a rule where if you kick the kickoff through the uprights, it's 1 point. You get 1 point. And their argument was, well, it's for safety because there's going to be a lot less run back kicks because everybody's trying to get a point. And I understand that, but I really like that rule. And I think, maybe it would help with kickoffs, but it would also add a little something to the game because nobody watches a kickoff. I don't really watch kickoffs, honestly,
Yeah,
unless I think it's going to be a run back or it's my team
Very
or
rarely
it's
do you
Devin
see that.
Hester. Like, not really.
Maybe Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, I'll watch
He
that.
doesn't even return kicks though.
He doesn't do it anymore. Yeah,
Just punts.
and Antonio Brown did that, but he was a punt returner.
But I like that rule if we could do 1 point for a kickoff through the uprights because it would maybe then you would have two kickers on your team because you got your
A guy
accuracy,
for
you got your
the-
shootout guys, and then you got your power guys.
Clemson had that. They had 2 kickers. They had a guy who only
kickers.
kicked, who only did
I know some
kickoffs.
NFL teams have done that going into the playoffs.
Yeah.
They've had 2 kickers.
They had a guy who kicked their field goals, and then they had a guy who did their kickoffs, and then a punter as well. So they had 3 different kickers, and this one guy could
It's a
kick
lot
it
of
through.
scholarship
Could
money.
kick it through the. They're probably walk-ons.
for a kicker.
Probably walk-ons. So it doesn't.
Yeah, because in the
most
NFL,
kickers are walk-ons.
you can't. You get one, maybe. Well, you get 2 kickers, but
Yeah,
that's only an
There's-
emergency
there's probably-
situation.
there's probably less than 1 kicker average per year added to the NFL pool of kickers
I have fear for the kickers
because they
man.
last for like 25
Forever.
years.
Yeah, what
Yeah.
Vince on his 25th season, 24th season.
Yeah,
Yeah, but you also fear for them because
with his beautiful.
everybody
gray
keeps
beard.
losing their job. They keep getting fired because there's a lot more missed extra points and kicks.
There's a
now.
lot
But
more
the players
turnover.
that get fired, the ones who get cut from their original teams, join other
They'll
teams
find
who
a team.
cut.
I don't know. Did Blair Walsh find as he?
Blair
he
Walsh
would?
was kicking for the Seattle for a while.
Shut up. Was it really Seattle?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Blair Walsh kicked for the guy from the Vikings was
Yeah.
kicking for the Bills later. Or some another team in the NFL like a week later.
Yeah,
Dan Bailey went from Cowboys to the.
Dan Bailey shouldn't have been cut.
No, but like that happened.
Yeah.
The kickers because there's a
I
select
think that
few
was
of
probably
kickers.
a money thing.
Kicking is such a specialty that
And you
a
get to
lot
that
of guys
high
aren't.
level.
I
If
wanna-
you're that good,
I want to
Yeah.
defend that choice to get rid of. Is it Daly?
Dan Bailey.
Dan Bailey. Why did I think it was Dan? Dan Bailey. Because I like Brett Maher because he's from Nebraska.
The guy
Go
that
Big
took
Red.
he's a good kicker
that
too.
took the job
He's
in the
actually
Cowboys.
not a
Pretty good
terrible
kicker.
kicker. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just I felt so bad. Who was it? Was it the Chargers kicker that missed one to like lose the game? And you see him, and he goes no, like as he's watching it, and and he was like a rookie. I felt so bad for that kid.
Didn't Justin Tucker do that?
Justin Tucker's
Justin
a champion.
Justin Tucker had missed his first extra point this season in like
It was
100.
late.
Oh,
some
and
tries.
but it was to lose the game.
Yeah.
He did lose the
Yes.
game on it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they
one
lost.
time he misses an extra.
That was
It
yeah,
was.
That'll,
It was a weird
that'll
kick
keep
though.
him up for a
It was
week.
the wind. Like you could when you watch the play, the kick was straight down the middle, and then it just died and went off to the side.
And
Like the wind, like I assume it was the wind that just killed it.
I think he's the best kicker of
That
all
killed their
time. He just
playoff
won't
hopes,
have
too.
the scenarios
Yeah.
to be called the greatest kicker of all time, but physically wise, like what his ability, I think he's the greatest kicker of all
Vinatieri
time.
is the greatest of all time.
Exactly, because
But
the
that's because he's played with
scenarios.
Tom Brady. And
Yeah.
He always he
has
kicked
what?
for Super
He has
Bowl
4 Super Bowl
championships.
rings.
It's because he beat the
5, 'cause he won
Rams,
with Peyton as well.
but he beat the Rams. He beat who?
Oh yeah, he's on.
He won with Peyton
Yeah,
and the
but
Colts.
he only won 3 with.
Oh,
He's got
New
4
England.
total rings.
I figured he had 5.
No, he was there for the original.
No, because he's got 3 Patriot rings, and then he's got
only and
one.
one Colts. He only has 3.
Indianapolis.
I thought he had 4. I guess for some
It was
reason.
He's
the-
got 4.
It was.
I
the,
meant 4 with the Patriots and 1 with the Colts.
Oh no, because the Patriots, Tom Brady's got 5, and so he had the original 3, and then 10 years, and then he lost to the Giants, and then this one, and 2 years ago, the Falcons. Won.
Right.
Yeah, so that's his 5. He's getting 6. Tom Brady's gonna have as many as the Steelers, which is the most. In
Yeah, let's get into that. Let's talk about the
all
Super
right,
Bowl.
Super Bowl previews, man.
Ah, man. I can't. But you talking about when I brought up Vinatieri, that was a mistake because then you talk about how he only has 3 of 5 rings, and the fact that this dynasty won't die, it just keeps going, and it's you want to be so upset, but you gotta respect it. Like I hate the Patriots, but they are like Tom Brady's the greatest quarterback of all time. I
Do you
don't
know?
care.
Do you know how old Sean McVay was when the Rams lost to the Patriots?
I don't remember.
He was 14.
Gronk was.
That's how old this. That's how long. This
Sony
dynasty
Michel
is.
was 6.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Sony Michel was 6 years
Because
old.
he's 33 and it was 19 years ago. He was 14 years
Gronk
old.
was 12.
And that's a storyline we're gonna hear a lot. That as well as some other things.
Gronk was 12.
Well, yeah,
Sony
Brady's
Michel
older
was
than McVay
6.
by, what, 10 years?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
Brady's 41.
Brady's. Oh my gosh, yeah, he's almost 10 years older than him.
9 years
that's-
older than I guess. 'cause
That's
he's 32.
crazy. Yeah. Well, his birthday's this week.
Oh, so he's 33.
9
Yeah,
effing Super Bowl.
because it's birthday week. It's him and the guys from Pardon My Take.
Nice.
This is the 11th Super Bowl appearance for the New England Patriots. 9 with Brady
Oh, who'd they lose?
and Belichick.
They lost to the Giants once. They lost in the 80s. They
And then
lost,
they lost
to
to
the
the-
Packers.
Yeah, that's the 2 other ones they lost. Because this is Brady's 9th. Ninth effing Super Bowl.
Yeah.
This is
It's incredible.
nuts.
It's
He's
incredible.
He's
13
LeBron
straight
James.
AFC title games is incredible to me too.
It's
He's LeBron James.
it's a
of the
run
NFL,
we'll never
man.
see again, but thanks to the coach and the system used.
You cannot win 5 Super Bowls just being a system quarterback.
I think there is
Tom Brady is the GOAT.
I think over the past duration of Brady's career, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to write you a list.
Yes,
And
right.
over the duration-
loudopinionated.com.
Over the duration of Brady's career, here's the list of quarterbacks that, if put in that position, they had the durability throughout their career to do what Brady did. I'm going to blow your mind right now. Matt Stafford could have 5 rings if he was the Patriots quarterback. He can do everything Brady can do physically. If he embraces it like Brady embraces it, Matt Stafford
Paul,
could do
it's
what Brady
not-
did. Oh, yeah.
It's
Absolutely.
not a coincidence when you go to 9 Super Bowls, man.
No, it's not a coincidence.
1, yes.
It's the
2,
pairing of the
Yeah.
coach and the quarterback.
No one's denying that Bill Belichick is a great
Yeah,
coach.
I'm not
so.
denying that
I'm
he
just
isn't a part of
saying
it.
that Brady
These things-
is not the greatest football player of all time.
You don't
And
have
there's
to
other
be-
quarterbacks that are more physically talented, and there's other quarterbacks that could do what he did if they were in his position.
Like Aaron Rodgers.
Would he have 5 Super Bowls if he was drafted by Tampa Bay?
I don't know.
No. Let me answer that one for you, Jake.
That's such a bullshit argument because then you can't. Then you completely negate.
That's the
any,
counter. I'll write it out. I'll take.
Then you
I'll take it
negate
all.
any sort of idea that a quarterback can be good at all without a coach.
Could Aaron Rodgers have 5 Super Bowls if he had been in the Patriots organization for 20 years?
I'm not acting like coaching isn't a huge factor in
So
it.
I'm just going to give you the quarterbacks that could have done this. Like Rodgers is one of them. Stafford's one of them. I'm just going off the top of my head. I give you more. Garoppolo.
I hate that he makes me defend Tom Brady.
Mahomes.
This hurts me to my core.
Nick Foles. Oh, yeah.
Stop. You're making me more angry that I have to defend Tom Brady, and you know how much I hate Tom Brady.
Everybody loves to hate Tom Brady.
That's because he's the greatest. That's
He's-
what happens when
He's
you're the
the
greatest.
5th most hated sports figure in America right now, according to the Hate Dar rankings.
On loudopinionated.com, written by Paul Rubidoux.
Absolutely, yeah. Most hated things in America. And the Patriots are at the top, and I think they're going to win. I really do. I can't bet against them
Such
because
a long way to get to the predictions.
it's all about the tangents, connections, man. It's about the transitions.
Anyway, do you think they're going to win?
I think the Patriots
How
are going to win.
How big?
I just can't bet
Field
against
goal,
them anymore.
touchdown?
I think it's going to be an offensive shootout because that's what the Patriots Super Bowls have been. They're fine with doing an offensive shootout. They just want to take away your number one. So it comes down to what is Belichick going to take away because the Rams have a lot of options.
Mm-hmm.
Gurley wasn't even utilized in the last
And
game.
they still won.
And they still won. So are you going to take away a guy that they didn't need last game? Like that's the question here. And I think Belichick's going to figure it out. I can't bet against him. He is the Jedi Master. He knows all the mind tricks.
Seems to figure it out 3 times.
I think it's
Pretty miraculous plays at least once.
Yeah.
The giant David Tyree.
that's
That's one of the most improbable plays in sports history.
Well, the
watch
Eagles,
that play, and
the
Eli
Eagles-
Manning should have been sacked twice. Like that play should never have even happened.
David Tyree didn't even play that season. He was just in on that game. Like
Yeah.
basically just in that game.
Yeah.
He only played very few snaps on the season.
It took a strip sack for the Eagles to win because if they don't get that, it's still like Patriots probably.
Well, the
still,
game's up in the air. Yeah.
still gonna score. So then it's but that sealed it because the Patriots weren't gonna stop.
The Eagles was a close game, but what you've seen is when you put pressure on Tom Brady, especially up the middle, but when you can pressure Tom Brady with 4 guys or
And the Rams will
or
very
4 to
well
5.
be able to
and the
do
Rams
that.
will do that.
yeah, so that's
Donald
really what it
and
can come
Sue.
down to
This is what
because
we talked about last week.
that's how the Giants beat the undefeated team is
Yep.
because they
Dominant
had a
defensive front.
Hall of Fame level defensive line. They had Osi Umenyiora, Michael Strahan. I don't think JPP was on that team.
Yeah,
Justin Tuck
he was-
was though.
he
Justin
was on
Tuck
Justin Tuck, yeah, Justin Tuck was on that team.
JPP was on.
He was on the second
one.
team, yeah. Still with Justin Tuck. And that's what it is. It's when you can get athletic defensive linemen to make Brady
Eagles had that last
feel
season.
pressure. That's what it
And
is.
the Rams will have it this.
That has happened 3 times. And so can the Rams figure out a way to get pressure on Tom? Or has Belichick found what is their heel and their weakness?
Yeah.
Can Brady get those 6-yard dunks out or the passes to Sony Michel before these guys get to him because they know this is their weakness.
I think the Rams' weakness is their linebackers. They have a great defensive line, a pretty good secondary.
When it comes to defense, yeah, absolutely.
I think it's their
and that's not
linebackers.
saying anything bad about
So-
the linebackers.
They have great corners and great defense.
That's what. Yeah, the rest of the
They
team.
traded Ogletree though to get somebody on the defensive line though.
Fowler probably.
Fowler was the one who made
Fowler was
the hit
pickup.
at in overtime to get the interception. That was
Finally
Fowler.
lived up to his first round billing.
Yeah,
Number
fine.
3 overall.
But yeah, I'm only saying that because the other two are so great. It's just
And that's the
Act
guy
of
who's going to have to
elimination.
cover James White out of the backfield.
and
Who-
and that's
who
what
is
that's what
incredible.
the Patriots did all day long.
How are
with
you
the
going to
Chiefs.
cover? Yeah,
Because
that's,
the
the
Chiefs
Falcons.
that's how they beat the
linebackers-
Falcons.
That's how they beat the Falcons. James White.
Is
Mhm.
I'm so excited to watch that game, dude. I'm so excited to
Well,
watch
and
this
that's-
game this week.
And that's the thing too is it always works on teams with weak linebackers. The Chiefs have weak linebackers.
Yes.
So they were dinking and dunking all day to the running backs, and you get Edelman on a drag, and then when they put Gronk out wide, it was so obvious. It's like they're gonna throw to him.
Tony Romo.
Tony Romo. Well, he said, and I'm like, and when they lined Gronk up the second time in overtime,
You don't like that.
No.
when they
No,
lined
dude.
Gronk up the second time in overtime, Ashley was there, and I'm like, they're gonna throw it to Gronk. It's gonna be a first down, and then right over the top, and I'm like, that safety didn't even cover him. Why would the safety go in? Why would he not cover
See,
over the
it's
top?
funny. See, and I see where you're coming from with Tony Romo because you're not gonna believe me, but I was calling the play. I was calling the plays on the last couple of games
I don't
too.
think
Like
it's super hard.
it's
to
not
do
that
what
hard
he's
to
doing.
do. That's what I'm saying. It's not that hard to
Come
do.
on.
No, for,
No, I was,
for
'cause
something of his level.
You see when you see Gronk go up top 1-on-1, it's going to Gronk.
Yeah, he's
Like that. Like that's all I'm saying.
Because the
Like it's
corner
going to go
can't
to
it's
cover
his
Gronk.
job to comment on things.
Yeah, and that's exactly what
and
he's
he's
doing.
going to comment on motion.
Because when I watch
maybe
when
we
I
should
watch
do our own commentary.
when
on
I
games.
watch
I can
sports
call touchdowns.
when I watch sports
I
I
can call Devontae Adams. I can call Jordy Nelson on the back shoulder.
Yeah.
I could.
I
Absolutely.
say things and then they'll say the exact
I'll be
same things on the
play-by-play.
TV like right after. It's
Yeah.
weird. That happens to me a lot.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's really weird.
It happens.
I'll
But that
be,
makes me feel like I could do that. Like anyone really can do that
I'll
job.
be Al Michaels. I'll be the play-by-play.
See, I couldn't do play-by-play.
I could
probably.
do play-by-play before I could do color. I
Really?
think, yeah, absolutely.
I can do both.
Would-
I'm so good.
You could be the Bill Walton, man. But I don't think Tony Romo deserves all the credit he's getting as like he should be he's going to be a coaching candidate because there's a lot difference between sitting up above and saying, "Oh, I see that motion, so here's what I think they're going to do," and getting it right
What
one
they
time out
should
of
do.
5. What they should do,
Yeah.
maybe what they're doing, maybe it's misdirection, and then being on the sideline where you can't coordinate that to your
NFL.
He's not
quarterback.
making the call
he's
based
not
on.
he can't make a defensive
He's not basing the
judgment.
call exactly.
He can't. There's nothing he can do, even from when he calls that play. So, wow, you know what? Doug Peterson probably knew what the Patriots were doing a few times when they lined up, and he just said, "Oh my gosh, here
stop
it
it."
comes."
Yep.
You know, and that happens. And I would not want Tony Romo as my coach if I'm any team in the NFL.
I don't know why you're ragging on Tony Romo. He's great.
Example number 1,
He's
Jon
great
Gruden.
at his job.
Example number 1, Jon Gruden. Pull
But
a guy
Jon-
out of the booth. You never lose when you're in the booth. That's something I think I heard Tony Dungy say that. He said, "You never lose in this game."
Is you trying to do a Tony Dungy voice?
No, that's not my Tony Dungy. I don't think I could do a Tony Dungy. I'm the only one that said my Super Bowl prediction.
I know. I was thinking that too.
Come
I was
on.
like-
You
but
know
we
I'm
kept-
taking the
we
Rams.
kept talking.
I'm taking the Rams.
My example of Tony, you don't want Tony Romo is Jon Gruden.
Well,
Because we can't have two
No.
times where we just devolve into Jon Gruden talk.
he's haunting our show.
Because you know what this is. This is Jon Gruden talk. Deuce.
Tell you what, he's a football gremlin.
Okay, no.
That's the title of this episode. It's
predictions.
Football gremlin.
Jake, you like the Rams.
Yeah, I've been hyping up the Rams.
How are they going to win? Why
the
are they
whole-
going to win?
The whole playoffs because, I kept trying to interject. And, well, I did a few times, but I think they'll do exactly what the Eagles did last season. Exactly what they did. They have just as much more, I think, firepower than the Eagles had last year in the Super Bowl. And the way that they've been playing in the second half of these games, last week in particular against the Saints, it's hard to pick against them. And they're going to get pressure with only 4 guys. They could probably just rush 3 and get pressure. And like I said, the thing that's going to beat them is underneath passes. That's the weakest point is the linebackers. You got Akeem Talib. You got
That's Patriots
Marcus
strength,
Peters. Yeah, I know that's going to be an issue, and that's why I agree with you. It's going to be a shootout, but it's going to end, I think, the same way as last year's did, where a defensive play by the Rams late in the game is going to win. They're going to get a strip sack
Aaron Donald makes a strip sack.
or an
that
interception.
It's
leads
going
to
to
the
come
field
down
goal
to
to win the
the
game.
to the one
or
lightning
or
play.
Marcus Peters makes a pick or something like that. Like a defensive turnover is going to change the game.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the Rams defense, I'm not knocking the Patriots defense. It's just the Rams have more stars. And I think that's what's going to help in the end. That's what worked for the Eagles.
Yeah, I like how you put that. Like, I think the defense will win the game because of the offense. The offense will keep them in the game because they'll be able to score, but the defense will make that final play.
They're going to do what the Chiefs
You're
did.
taking the Rams too,
I have the
Brandon?
Rams as well. Yeah,
If the Chiefs
Oh,
could have
man.
gotten one defensive stop, they would have won that game.
I'm okay with being the only guy taking the Patriots. I can't bet
It's-
against Tom Brady anymore.
It's
Him and Bill Belichick, man. He didn't even play good in the AFC Championship game. He would have had a third interception,
yeah,
but it was called
he
back.
had 350 yards though.
Okay, it's
Yeah, but you're
2019.
throwing all over the fourth
No
quarter.
one, people don't have 350 yards though.
That's a little more average than it used to be, especially at this level of a playoff game.
I'll give the Patriots
They're all
credit.
shootouts.
They made it
What
interesting.
was the lowest passing yards? I bet it was close to 300, 350. I don't know though.
No, I bet it was in the 200s.
All right, so we
For
kind of
sure.
got into this a little bit. Best off-field storylines. You know, is this going to be Gronk's last game? He's going to go
He's
to
a
the
different player than
WWE.
he's a different player than he was 5 years ago.
Everybody just looks at that image of him like tripping over himself in Miami when he was the defensive player, and it's so stupid. I don't even know why he was in the game. It was horrible.
Because they threw it deep.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah,
not,
they were expecting the deep play,
Yeah.
which maybe he would have worked for the tip, but when it comes to like hook and ladder, he was the worst guy you want back there.
Yeah, I don't think I don't know. I think he'll keep playing.
Yeah, Sean McVay winning one for his
unless he
hometown.
saves the money like you say he has. He could leave right now. I don't think it would matter.
Yeah, no, Gronk has done very well with his finances, and he's going to have a second career. His public life is not done with football.
acting maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he'll be in
bit
stuff. He's
parts.
going to be in the WWE. I'm telling you.
Oh yeah, for sure.
He's going to go to the WWE.
Gronk's gonna be a
He's
wrestler.
he's the Rock 2.0.
I wouldn't go that far.
My favorite is the Sean McVay versus Bill Belichick because
The new offense and the old defense.
I would say
that's fun.
because Sean McVay is
Very
a
innovative.
guy who could be. He's very innovative, but then he's like, is this the next Bill Belichick?
Right. Yeah.
Is this the next guy? Because he's so young,
That's
he's
a
going to
great
be there
point.
for a long time. Like, are we? Like we want to see something with Tom Brady when he, how that happened.
Yeah, he's
It's kind of the
33.
same thing.
Think about 30 years of Sean McVay as a head coach with a single team. Like that could be a dynasty unlike
Yeah.
anything we've ever seen.
Yeah, could be, especially if he's the mind that he's showing right now,
It could be the next.
and it continues to grow.
Yeah.
Because Sean McVay is an interesting story just in general because of those videos of him remembering specific plays in a random game that he's played or that he's called. Like he knows all these plays from
Oh
regular
yeah,
season
the
games
videos
in the
of his
second
memory
quarter.
were
Yeah, it's
crazy.
it's incredible.
Yeah,
He's
unreal.
incredible. Yeah.
Yeah. So what about which one? I kind of like the underlying tone of Tom Brady being 5-4 in Super Bowls.
I was reading that and it's an interesting thought
It's
because
like- it's like
it's
LeBron,
a kind of
man.
a LeBron argument. Yeah,
Right,
exactly.
Right. He gets on all these games, but he can't win. Or
But he's only 500. He's
LeBron could reach 10 finals losses.
like, but it's crazy.
It never looked like we would get to this point. Like I never thought when I saw
You never think of that in a football
no,
scenario.
I never would
No, because
think
it's
that-
unfathomable for anyone to go to that man.
to get
Right.
9. Yeah, normally it's 3.
and still have.
So that's where my argument just like completely falls from under me. Is well, nobody else could ever do
Yeah.
that.
So yeah, he's not just a system quarterback. So shut up.
It's still because of the team that he's with that's made that many. There's third-year linemen. There's a
You
third-year
sound so
starting
salty
lineman.
right now. You were so
No.
salty because Aaron Rodgers has got stuck with a bad team consistently,
I just got.
and this
I
is
think
just
it's.
your justification for being so
I
mad.
think it's my
about
underrated take. Oh yeah, the Packers have not built around him well. But this isn't about the Packers.
How is that Tom Brady? You acting like that?
This is about how there's a third-year starting lineman for the Patriots that's played in the Super Bowl every year of his career in the NFL. Is he the best lineman of all time? No, he's on the Patriots.
Then how did Tom Brady beat Patrick Mahomes?
I think Drew Bledsoe was on his way to some championships.
No.
with the Patriots.
Answer me this. Because Patrick Mahomes.
They were good before.
Matt Castle went 11-5 and then bombed, absolutely bombed. So
you're
Castle-
agreeing that it takes talent to be a system quarterback that long, right?
I'm saying that Brady is an above-average quarterback.
Because Patrick Mahomes couldn't do that.
Patrick Mahomes could do this.
Like Patrick Mahomes is a flash in the pan.
Patrick,
Mark
here
my
he comes.
words.
Here he comes.
Mark my words. In 2 or 3 years, Patrick Mahomes,
Counter hot take. Counter hot take. He just came off the top rope at me. He did.
I think Patrick Mahomes is the MVP.
I was kind of like that. I didn't
It's
believe
not his.
in him.
It's not.
I didn't believe in
his-
him till like halfway through the year. I was like, no, this gunslinger.
It is not his fault. The AFC title game, he did everything he could in that game. That was not his fault. And I think he's got good years ahead of him. But I think even with all this talent, Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill,
That's what's scary about it.
Sammy Watkins.
Andy Reid.
But what's the
I love
the
Andy Reid, man.
consistent thing though? They can't win. I know this is his first year, but this was the window of opportunity, I think, for Kansas City.
The window of
No,
opportunity,
the window of
has
opportunity
like
is
three more years for
is
his
forever
contract.
because
Yeah,
Patriots.
2 to 3
it's
years,
his
I guess.
contract.
Mahomes is going to be there when Brady leaves. So like, even if you're saying he can't beat Brady, he's still going to be. Brady's going to go eventually.
Father Time is.
He's not going to
undefeated.
play for another 20 years.
I love
But
that
I'm
stat.
saying at an extent here, this is the
that was not the Chiefs' window. That was their first glimpse at the window.
Yeah.
But it's hard for
It's Jordan in
a
90.
team to escape their identity. A team has an identity, and it's going to stay there until it's not. Andy Reid is not going to win them a championship.
Cleveland won
I
with-
wouldn't say that
they
there's
had a
any
54-year
Chiefs
drought.
player that has a brand or an identity of choking. Unlike the Philadelphia teams that absolutely had players with a history of underperforming.
They're all young.
Yeah,
Kansas
I
City.
like the Chiefs players. I hear what you're saying about Andy Reid, and I agree with you. If
but
there's
that's a consistent.
if
The
there's-
Eagles got rid of Andy Reid,
if
took him
there's-
a couple tries,
there's
but they
two
finally got a
coaches-
good coach.
two coaches in the history of the NFL that I don't want to need to score a touchdown with 2 timeouts and 2 minutes to go, it's Tom Coughlin and Andy Reid. I'm scared. Okay? I don't trust them. And I totally agree with you.
Won 2 Super Bowls.
Doug Peterson came from Andy Reid. You're talking about how great Doug Peterson is that he worked under Andy
I am
Reid.
not.
Hey, that all
denying-
you know whose coaching tree that is, baby. That's Mike Holmgren. Flex on them, Packers. That's
I'm
Mike
not-
Holmgren's
I'm
tree.
not discrediting that Andy Reid has been a good coach. I'm just saying he can't.
We
win
had
the big
Andy
games.
Reid, Jon Gruden, all in the same offensive room in Green Bay
Leave
in the
Gruden
90s.
out of this podcast.
Yeet. He just keeps coming back. He's just one of those guys, man. He just pops up like Chuck.
He's like a ghost, man. And I'm like Pac-Man.
I can-
waka waka waka.
I can just joke about the Raiders for days though, because Mark Davis, I got a good one. Mark Davis is one of those bosses that doesn't have an office in the building. He just walks around, and you hope he doesn't pop into your office and say, "Hey, what you working on?" You know, he just sidles up to you while you're walking down the hallway and goes, "Hey, how's your week
You're
been?"
trying to tell me that Mark Davis is so lonely that he has to be buddies because he's a billionaire, so he can only be friends with the people he.
If
he
Mark
makes work
Davis
under.
isn't paying for everything, are you hanging out with him? Because I'm not.
No, I'm not.
Cut together all the Raiders stuff from this. Dude.
Oh God! I still gotta make the compilation of me talking trash on
It's like
Philip
Joe
Rivers.
Rogan and Rogan. Okay, to recap, Super Bowl picks. I'm stuck with the Patriots. Brandon,
I got the Rams.
score.
High 35-31.
Jake.
I say 41-34.
All right. We did mention a little bit. The Super Bowl is going to affect the Hate Dar Power Rankings, which is the most hated sports things in America, which I will be updating after the Super Bowl. And as the year goes around, that's going to be fun. In non-football news, before we close out the show, Brandon, has Bryce Harper joined a team?
Is not.
Manny Machado?
Nope.
That's our baseball talk. To the NBA, Anthony Davis this morning requested a trade, and it was unlike any like breaking news trade thing I've ever gotten because it seemed so polite. You know, even in the wording from Bleacher Report, it said requested. Jimmy Butler demanded a trade. You know, you demand trades in the NBA, or you get traded and the rug swept out from under you. But it was like he was like, my time here is done. You guys were great, but you're just not gonna win it.
You're not good enough.
Yeah, exactly. And then
No hard feelings, but you're not good enough.
and then as of the past half hour,
Ring, sir.
yeah, yeah, this is like LeBron leaving Cleveland the first time. I just I just gotta sow my wild oats right now.
Maybe he comes back to New Orleans
we have-
in 5 years.
Oh, yeah.
we have reached the maturity level of this relationship,
There's like
and I need
fireworks.
more.
We've grown apart.
It's not that you're not hot, but you just want to keep partying, and I'm ready to settle down.
you
That's
the-
where Anthony Davis is at with the
Look,
Pelicans.
You were the first franchise I was ever with, and I think I need to just open up my
I
options.
gave you my first 40-point game. It would be hard, and especially with a franchise that has never won anything, I would feel a little more passionate about. I'm going to be the guy that brings it for the city.
Hey, New
So
Orleans.
he probably does feel that way.
It's not you. It's me.
That's what it is. But as of the past half hour, Shams has been tweeting that Anthony Davis will not sign a Supermax deal with the Pelicans, which means he's willing to take less money and keep his options for teams he's going to go to more open. So without signing the Supermax, other teams can't, for people that don't know, other teams cannot then sign him to the level that he could have been signed if he stayed in New Orleans. Like Blake Griffin signed a Supermax and then was traded, keeps his Supermax salary for the length of that 5 years in Detroit. So Anthony Davis is telling the NBA, I'm willing to take a total of like
huge pay cut.
I'm gonna throw this number out. I'm gonna say it's about $30 million over a 5-year contract that he would lose. That he's just
About
not
that,
gonna.
yeah.
I'm gonna
I'd
say about $30
that.
million that he's saying I want to keep my options open, and I think that's huge because it means he is trying to win right now. He's not all about the money, and that makes him. I maybe want to play with him more. The other breaking news with that is that the Lonzo Ball camp within the past hour has come out and say, well, we know that that means LeVar. LeVar's out here.
Yeah.
It's LeVar.
Big brawler brand.
That they don't want Lonzo to go to the Pelicans to the point that if this happens, they want a third team to facilitate a draft pick or a moving part so that Lonzo doesn't have to go to a team with an established point guard. What do you guys think GM LeBron thought when he heard the Ball family demand of a third team?
Send him anyway.
Yeah.
All right, bud.
Banish him to-
Okay, cool. You think I'm
don't care.
gonna answer your dad's text when you're in New Orleans? Like that's really what it is. Is he gonna go to anybody but the Lakers?
I don't.
No,
I don't see
think
it.
so.
No. Yeah. I
I
think.
think that's
The
whole-
writing's on the wall. Well, hey, Kawhi just bought a $1 million house in LA, like within the past month.
That would be an incredible. That would be a team to legitimately compete with the Warriors in terms of even just star power.
if I'm the Lakers, I get rid of Rondo. That's who I would get rid of.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
See, I like
it's
Rondo.
I'm keeping Rondo.
It's either
man.
him or Lance Stevenson for me, honestly.
So we're looking at the odds because the odds have come out of Lakers players most
Yeah.
likely to be dealt, and now you got to put this in perspective. That there's going to be at least one draft pick included in this, and that's not in here. It's just players.
I guess you could get rid of Michael.
Brandon
Beasley.
Ingram's gone.
I think
Gone.
I think they should keep Kuzma, trade Ingram and Ball, and keep Kuzma.
I like that. I agree with you
You
there.
think they're gonna get rid of Ball?
Yeah.
I think
Ball,
I think
with
you gotta,
Rajon Rondo and LeBron James on your team, Lonzo Ball is expendable.
Rondo has playoff experience. He knows what to do. There is something to playoff Rondo, and I've seen it.
And you saw
Where-
that last season.
Yeah, where he just mails it in and argues with the coach in the regular season, says either don't put me in or play me for 30 minutes, and there's no in between. And then it comes to playoff time, and he's dishing 13 assists and got 4 steals for you because he won with the Celtics, and he is the hardest dude in the playoffs. Like, he's all over people, and it's really cool. I think he's going to stay, and that's why, he's plus here because – oh, he's not. Excuse me. He's a minus. He's a minus grade. But minus 115 compared to Brandon Ingram at minus 500.
I think Brandon Ingram's
I
gone.
think Lonzo's gonna. I think Rondo's gonna stay also because of the age. I think they're
Yeah.
gonna give up 3 young players. You got to give up a young core. I think Brandon Ingram's gone because just haven't really seen him mesh with what LeBron wants to do. I think Josh Hart's gone.
He's an interesting player.
I think that they're gonna want to keep him, but if Lonzo refuses to go, what's your locker room situation going to be after you refuse to go somewhere else?
Yeah.
Right.
I think it's
What's
going
his
to
locker
be
room situation in New Orleans if he does go?
well, right.
That's
If he
probably
takes that
worse.
pay cut, yeah.
Well, I really think Lonzo's the guy that says, "Listen, man, my dad says a lot of things. I'm here to keep my head down. I'm here to ball." And
See,
you've
I
seen
don't
that
hate
in LA.
Lonzo
I don't
Ball
hate
as
Lonzo
much as
either.
I hate LeVar.
Yeah,
yeah,
LeVar
it's his
Ball.
dad. It's his dad.
LeVar
LeVar
is
Ball makes
horrible.
Lonzo's name sound terrible when Lonzo's not that
It
kind of
does
guy.
leave a bad taste in your
Yeah.
mouth. For sure.
Lonzo is a passionate team player. You know, he plays both ends every play, and I like watching him. He's fun, and he puts up highlights in single plays and in game stats. But his dad just really does bring him down.
You know, I should have said Brandon Ingram as well. I think when I look at this list of names, him and Josh Hart are both names that they just don't really stand out to me. You know, I think Rajon Rondo probably was the bad thing. I think I'd rather go Lance Stevenson, actually. I would change it up and get rid of Lance.
I can see Lance being a part of it. I don't think LeBron has any real friendly feelings
No.
towards needing this guy on my team.
I think Lance and Ingram would probably go.
If there's one of the older guys, I'd agree
yeah,
with you.
if you got, I think they're going to give up an old guy like Stevenson rather than a young guy.
Well, they can't give up
You
Caldwell
got to think
Pope.
about you're trading for Anthony Davis. You got to give them pieces.
Something,
A core.
right? Yeah,
You
yeah.
can't give them. Oh, we'll give you
Something to
3
build.
worst players, and you can take. We'll
Something
get
to
Anthony
build,
Davis.
you know?
Yeah.
Right.
They can't give him Kentavious Caldwell Pope though because I'm pretty sure he's still under house arrest in the city of
Can't
LA.
leave. Can't leave.
Oh my god. This is the funniest thing ever where he can't go to away games with the team out of state. He could go to the Sacramento game, but he couldn't go to the Phoenix game.
Go to a Clippers game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's so funny. I think if it comes down to it, my prediction is if it's the Lakers and it's 3 young guys in a draft pick, I'm gonna say it's Ingram, Ball, and Zubac. Because I think they're
them getting rid of Ball.
they're gonna have to give him a big man, and there's gonna have to be a core. And I think they're gonna do everything to keep Kuzma because I think Kuzma and LeBron is a above average forward.
I think
combo.
Kuzma's going to.
I don't
really,
think
really
they get
good.
rid of Lonzo Ball because he's still there.
Kuzma is the fulcrum of this trade.
Kuzma is the best player on this list that we have here of all Lakers players
Okay, yeah.
besides LeBron.
Right.
Yeah.
But here's the thing about Lonzo. He was, and I know it's the way I look at it is they spent didn't spend a lot of money, but he's their big draft pick. He's their guy.
Well, they traded away D'Angelo Russell. They said we're going to move forward.
Right,
with
and
Ball.
you bring in LeBron to kind of mentor him. Like they're trying to make him their next star. I
They've
think.
played well together.
And so that's why I don't think they're going to get rid of Lonzo. I think they're trying to make him a Kobe or a Shaq, like a big
It could be
star.
Lonzo. I mean, from another team perspective, I would say I'd agree with you. Lonzo is a very unappealing trade asset, which I know what he's going to bring to the court, but I also know it's going to come with him off the court, which is why the Celtics were picking that high, and I was like, oh, I know they're not going to take Lonzo, and I'm not even worried about that because we don't want those problems. And I really think that could be a part of it for a team saying, no, we don't really want that drama in our locker room of somebody saying why our point guard should be a different point guard. And so maybe he doesn't get traded, and that's why. But other teams that Anthony Davis could go to, Lakers are the best odds at minus 125. Celtics are second. Pelicans are third to play
Question.
next season. Yeah.
I totally didn't listen to what you just said, so we're gonna have to cut. But do you think if Lance Stevenson gets traded, he blows a kiss goodbye?
Maybe on Instagram.
I'm so sorry. What did you say?
He could on Instagram. Well, the teams with the best odds for where Anthony Davis is going to
okay.
be playing next season. Lakers are at minus 125. Celtics are second at plus 150. Then it's Pelicans if he stays there plus 600, and then another jump to the Knicks at 850. So here's why: if I'm a betting man, which I've done a very bad job of that through the NFL playoffs,
I want to see you really put money down on that
you know, I
and just fuck up.
I
your
think
life.
I'd do better with my life on the line. Ice in my veins, bro.
I keep trying not to swear, and I keep swearing. It's just who I am, guys.
So I think the Knicks are honestly an actual dark horse.
I saw that. I saw the Knicks as a potential,
The
and
Knicks-
I was intrigued.
the Knicks could put together
850?
a package, and that's why you bet on them. I
850.
think he'll be with the Knicks before he'll be with the Celtics. I'm gonna say based on the
Oh.
timing of this trade request, the Celtics do not have a chance to get him.
No, because they can't get rid of Kyrie.
Exactly. See, that's why the Celtics can't get him until after July 1st
Yep.
because they would have to rework Kyrie's career or contract. They cannot have two of that type of contracts on the same roster without restructuring. So he's still not going to be available like this when it comes to July. So that's why, unfortunately, like the Celtics, they've been talking about for 2 years how they could put together the Celtics could put together a package better than anybody else. And now it comes time for the bidding,
They can't do
and
it.
they literally cannot have him on the team. So I like the Knicks though. I don't know if you could include Porzingis.
No, you would want
Oh.
Porzingis to stay on. If
You
you
give-
do everything,
Can I give you 10 guys?
anything else, yep.
Can I just like go into
They
the
have draft
offseason
picks.
with
They have-
Davis and Porzingis?
They have.
Ugh.
Oh yeah, that would be an incredible. That'd be.
Oh
That'd
my
be
gosh.
that'd
Is
be
your 4 and your 5
almost as scary as Cousins and Davis was
I'm
in New
sorry.
Orleans.
scarier?
I can't.
Scarier.
Doesn't
DeMarcus
he-
Cousins is pretty good.
DeMarcus Cousins is good, but I think he's a little more limited offensively and ceiling wise at this point in his career compared to Kristaps Porzingis.
After the Achilles injury, maybe not before though.
No, not before, but as of right now, plus with
Yes, right now,
Porzingis'
Porzingis
long
is
range
fine.
ability, the purple unicorn, as he is affectionately known, would be a
How do you
great
get purple unicorn?
because that's what Phil Jackson called him. That's why he drafted him. Like, there's only like he's like a purple unicorn. Like,
That's
how
such
often
a-
do you see one of those?
That's such a weird thing to
'Cause he's-
name somebody.
Because he's so unique.
I get the metaphor, but
They would be like two Kevin Durant's in the post. It would be the most incredible front court.
did you say Wingus and Dingus earlier? For names,
No,
I heard Dingus.
Porzingis.
Porzingis sounded like Dingus. I'm sorry, I was so lost in the weeds there, but I'll cut before that part.
All right.
I got a lot of editing. to do.
Well, other NBA news: James Harden is still on an unbelievably crazy run, unstoppable on his way to an MVP. How is Russell Westbrook taking it that he's going to be the third best player of that Thunder team? Let's think about that for a second.
I mean,
Just take
I
that
don't-
in.
I don't think I don't think it cares for him as much as it
Oh, I
is
think
the
it gets to
Thunder's.
him,
The
man. It
Thunder's.
to him.
He is the
Front
the
office.
biggest baby.
He's been the franchise.
I think
his
I
whole
think it yeah,
career.
I think it gets to Sam Presti because I think that if they would have known about how the cap was going to jump, they didn't need to trade Harden that year. I think that they would have kept him at least for one more 3-year contract before they had to split all that up.
How do they have all those players and never?
Well, that's
I mean,
what it
think if-
was is because
but
they got rid
James
of Harden.
James Harden did not have the role in Oklahoma City that he has
Right.
in Houston. James
Right.
Harden was the sixth man. He's not getting the ball.
He
Yeah,
still would have been a
80%
better
of the
sixth
time.
man
Houston
than their
ma-
option
No,
became.
he was a good player for that on that sixth man. But I'm saying
Yeah,
if
Houston
he
made
was
him a
Russell
star,
Westbrook, he's better than he could have been Russell Westbrook, and Westbrook could have been the sixth
So
man.
now that they're actually comparable as stars of their team where they pound the ball, Harden's the better guy.
Harden's better. Yes.
Harden is the better guy.
Yeah, but neither of them
Russell
win-
Westbrook is
neither-
better at defense. Russell Westbrook can play defense though. and
Neither of
Harden
them win
has-
They can both
championships.
play defense. Harden picks the spots, man. Just
Russell Westbrook gets a lot of steals.
he
though.
cares more because he plays every play.
Yeah, but neither of them.
It's because he plays every play.
Neither of them have a ring. Like that's the thing. These guys, if they're like, I don't understand why they're so great in the regular season. And I understand that they have to carry a team,
It's a team.
but LeBron had to do that last year and still got to the finals.
It comes down to your backup guard play.
And I understand
But
that the
LeBron-
East,
Sean
and I
Livingston
understand
won them
the
their
East
first
is easier
for
than
the
the
Golden
West.
State.
I get that argument, but like that just shows you the level of the disparity in talent. If LeBron can still do that with no talent, and
It's
these
not,
guys can't.
but I don't think it's the disparity in talent because I think James Harden and the Houston Rockets, if they're in the East, makes the finals. And like if you let's say you switch LeBron's Cavaliers and the Houston's, that's it. Everything else is exactly the same. Cleveland loses in the semifinals just like Houston did because they played the Warriors. You just met them early.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with talent as it is. Well, we met the Warriors in the first round. We probably were the second best. That could happen. You never know.
Well, then that's the argument for the NBA seeding 1 through 16 instead of by conference 1 through 8.
It does because everyone
Because then
everyone
you can
knew
have
that
the
the
Rockets
Rockets
as the
everyone
number
knew
2
that the Rockets
overall.
and the Warriors were the
And
best.
you have a bracket set up for them to meet in the finals, which
Yeah.
the NBA doesn't want to do because they want LeBron in the finals.
But because you would say the West Finals was obviously way more appealing than the NBA Finals was.
more exciting.
Exactly. Like it went to 7. They were all close.
You're talking about the Rockets, right?
Yes, the
Yeah.
Rockets against the Warriors
Yeah.
and not Cleveland.
When JR dribbled the ball out, the finals were over, man.
Oh, I know.
From that
They
moment.
had their
it
chance.
really felt like the air was gone.
I
That would've made
Even
it-
when they went to overtime.
that
That,
would've-
was game 1.
Yeah, they
Game
would have taken
one,
the lead.
but I'm
yeah.
saying they win that game, then they win game 2. They're up 2-0 going back to
Yeah.
Cleveland.
Oh, absolutely.
That changed
You
the
have
entire series.
you have a win. What's the phrase? It's not a series until the away team wins a game. And
If they could,
that was
if
their
they,
shot.
If they could have,
That was it. It was
It was
heartbreaking.
over.
It was heartbreaking.
It was over from that moment
If-
where he's like, "I thought we were up," and
if they could have even just split that would have been.
They did split though
They
because
did,
they
they
won
did,
game
right?
2, I believe. Cleveland's only win in the finals last year was in game 2.
Okay, I can't remember.
thought.
I thought they won.
Oh
game-
no, it was in game 3. I'm sorry.
It was in Cleveland.
Yeah, you're right. Never mind.
And yeah, if they could have just split that could have been
Yeah.
a totally different story. But yeah, that's what happens when you get a guy like KD to play for you on a
makes it
team,
unfair. And now
on a
it's gonna
team
be
that's
more
already
unfair.
really good and won a championship already.
And DeMarcus Cousins looks like he's back.
Yeah,
He looks like basically the same player he
I
was.
saw he took a bad fall trying to make a play,
Yeah.
but
When
Yeah.
does the dynasty end for Golden State? Because I think they're going to win this year.
it ends when somebody leaves.
It ends when Steph Curry can't carry the team anymore.
It ends. How about this? Let me one up you.
What do you mean by that? You
It
mean like he's
ends
the
when
leader?
when Clay's not there and Steph can't guard your top guard.
Okay. KD's there though.
If it's KD and Steph though, that's
KD and Steph are there. They're
who-
champions until
who can guard
they're
anybody?
like
Igu-
36.
But Iguodala is your other lockdown defender, and
he's about to be out
old,
of the NBA. Yeah,
man.
he's up there. But that's what I'm saying. If KD and Steph stick together, no other team, I don't think you can't compete with those guys. I don't think.
I think that if it's just those 2 of these 5 that are here, they're a lot more vulnerable. And I
No,
see
I'm not
them-
saying
I
they're
see
not.
them
I'm not.
losing
That's yes, they're
to
taking
the
3 All-Stars away.
the future
but I'm
Lakers.
saying everyone, if the Lakers get Davis, I think they have a legit shot. Davis is an incredible. Davis
Does
is
he give them a shot this year?
yes. I think I
This year.
honestly
LeBron,
think
Anthony
he does.
Davis,
I think
Lonzo?
LeBron and Anthony Davis together,
And then plug in your
Rondo.
3.
they have a chance.
Yeah.
I think they have a chance.
Well, then you got to make sure you have. If it's Rondo on the floor with LeBron and Davis, you got to make sure you got some more shooters
You gotta
out
have-
there.
yeah.
You got to have Kuzma.
Because Davis can
Right.
shoot, but he's a inside. That's where he's. dead.
Yeah,
Like,
he
he
can
gets
step
Davis-
out, but it's
Davis would be the
He
best
gets his points
player.
in the paint, for
Davis
sure.
would probably be the best player LeBron has ever played with in his career. I'd
best
say
single teammate.
best
Really
better
From
than
the-
Wade.
from the Heat guy.
Yeah, and Dwayne Wade's my favorite player of all time. But I think Davis right now is better than Dwayne Wade was,
He's at a better place in his career than Wade was.
and
in
he's better than
2010.
Kyrie too.
Wow.
I don't know. Kyrie hit the shot over Steph to win the
He-
finals.
yeah, he
Best
had the
better
game winner.
player. Davis is a better player than Kyrie Irving. I'm not saying Kyrie Irving's not clutch.
There's something about showing what you've done though, and
Kyrie Irving's
like,
been there
coming
longer.
up
He
in the
played.
moment.
He
You're not
played
gonna
with
win this
LeBron.
argument. He's a Celtics.
Kyrie
fan.
played with LeBron. Davis didn't play with LeBron. Like you got to Kate Davis has not been in the has not had the opportunity like Kyrie has.
Well, LeBron started tampering with Kyrie. He posted a song to Kyrie on Instagram, which was like, if I could go back in time and rewind. And so, like, I'm a little worried that Kyrie, like, now that they're mended, like, Kyrie's gonna end up like
what if
in
what if
LA. Like,
Kyrie
oh my
leaves?
God.
What if Kyrie leaves Boston and they end up with nobody?
You know what the funny thing about
we
Boston?
got Jason Tatum
Jason Tatum, but you gave
and Gordon Hayward, Jalen Brown.
This is
you
the-
think Gordon Hayward? I don't know. I don't know about Gordon Hayward.
Here's the thing about
he's not who we bought.
No.
No.
well, not after
No.
when you break your leg like that, it's hard to come back.
Yeah, when
But
you
was
when you
Gordon
pull a Joe
Hayward as good?
Theismann.
Was Gordon Hayward really as good as they all thought he was? Because Donovan Mitchell came in the next season and
Come
did
on,
the
man.
same
He was
role.
averaging like 27. He was
Hayward
an
was?
all-star. Yeah, like 26, 6 and 6.
He's a Celtics fan.
He was a consolation for missing out on Kevin Durant because Celtics were so close to getting Kevin Durant. I stand by that. That they were going to get him until the Warriors
I need
came
a-
in
I
with
need
the
a-
master pitch.
Stopwatch for Celtics talk.
The Celtics They took Tom Brady and David Ortiz to the recruiting pitch. How do you lose? Count the rings, bro. City loves us. You know, I really think they almost had him.
Steph Curry, man.
But, you know,
Steph
que
Curry.
sera. What will be, will be. So,
I hope you know that if the Celtics lose the East in the playoffs, lose the East championship, I'm going to text you.
Oh,
The
they're
East
not.
is tough.
they're not. They're
The
not gonna
East
lose
is tough
the
this
East.
year.
Are you joking?
The East
They're
is
they're
tough
going
this
to
year.
the finals.
What they're gonna have a hard battle against Toronto.
That's my point.
You don't
Paul.
think
If
Milwaukee
they-
has a? You don't think
If
Milwaukee?
they manage to
Milwaukee doesn't have the pieces with the experience, and Philadelphia is just not a well put together team.
No, I don't think Philadelphia.
trust the
I don't think
process?
Philadelphia is on the same
the
tier.
process was not completed.
They don't
the
have a
process
shooter.
didn't trade away the right players when they should have. And now Markelle Fultz is literally dead weight because no team wants him.
my
You
point
can't trade him.
My point is, Paul, if they manage to lose, we get to rag on you for a while on this show. because
What else happens in this fantasy land? The Bucks win because Celtics aren't losing the East, man.
Remember that, Brandon. Remember this because I want to just
Toronto's tough.
I just
Toronto's gonna be tough.
I don't know. I don't know.
I want to relentlessly pick on them.
LeBronto chokes it in the playoffs.
But LeBron's not
Not
on the
LeBron.
Celtics. Who cares?
yeah, that's true. There's no like
The
DeMar
Celt-
DeRozan to just like
It's Kawhi Leonard. It's not
fall
DeMar
off.
DeRozan.
Yeah, I know,
It's
he's not
Kawhi
there.
Leonard.
And so, well, you know, there is there that much separating the two? Stats
Are you
wise?
kidding me?
Stats wise?
Yes.
Kawhi's been to a finals and he's been the MVP.
Kawhi is the best defensive player in the NBA. What are you talking about? DeMar DeRozan is not
if he's
defensive player.
invested, like I said, he bought a house in LA.
It doesn't mean that he's not playing hard.
He can try to win a finals with them this year, but in the back of his mind be like, man, I'm gonna be raking it in as a Clipper.
But he's still trying to win the finals this year. That makes him a more legitimate threat than DeMar DeRozan. You're telling me that you think
I'm with,
you think
I'm
Kawhi,
with
Kawhi
Brandon.
Leonard is a top 5 player in the NBA. DeMar DeRozan is nowhere
I
near
don't
the
think
top
I don't
5.
think Kawhi Leonard's a top 5 player right now in the NBA. I'll go through it. LeBron, Steph, Durant, Davis, Paul George playing great, Harden playing great, Kyrie best handles in the game. I'm at 7.
He just loves Kyrie, huh?
I think that if this is before his year out in San Antonio, I agree with you. He was
just as good as he
number
was
3.
then.
He was
He was
outstanding.
behind Durant and LeBron.
He was the man, the myth, the legend. Like, it got to the point where people were saying his hands were the size of catcher's gloves. You know, like he's just huge.
What if they are?
Oh, they are.
They probably are. Yeah.
He's like incredible. I remember Sports Illustrated did something on him when they first made the finals, and they beat LeBron, and they had the physical, like, this is his hand, actual size. And it was almost a full page that you could just put your hand up to.
Like you could easily just have my whole head in his hand.
Oh yeah, he's is so disproportionate. Ladies,
Boy. Okay, so that was a good teaser to show we do other sports.
we will do other sports. We're gonna find the other sports for this off season. We're gonna have fun with the other sports. The NFL as well as the NBA, they're year-round sports. There's gonna be things
I'm
to
gonna
talk
be the
about.
hockey
It'll be
guy.
draft season. That look for next week when we come together. I'll have an AAF preview. We're gonna start doing some AAF talk. It's the Alliance of American Football. And are you telling
Oh,
me
boy.
that you don't want to watch a football league that is run by T.O. and what's his name from Texas? That is a part of this group as well. Steve Spurrier. I'm gonna go to a game. I'm gonna go to an Arizona Hot Shots game this spring. I'll be there.
I've never. You are the only person excited to go.
I'm
to an
carrying
AAF
the
game.
flag because it's time. The NFL has had a legal monopoly on professional football, and it's time for a league to challenge them again. The USFL didn't work because of
Donald
what
Trump.
happened in the lawsuit. Donald Trump and the lawsuit of the $1 settlement
So-
killed the USFL.
You got a fair point. We don't have a Donald Trump or Vince McMahon to ruin this.
I don't need either of those. Vince McMahon is going to come in with the XFL in 2020 and be too late. The AAF is
Well,
going to be here.
That's what I'm saying. They don't have big egos like Donald Trump and Vince McMahon in
Yeah,
this scenario.
They seem a little more down to earth, starting with 8 teams. It's a 10-week schedule, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Spring football, man. It's going to be on CBS. Don't hate when we get more football.
What if it's bad football?
You know, I'll watch Maction on a Tuesday night. If I'll watch the Mac on a Tuesday night, I think I'll watch the AAF. in the
You
spring.
actually sit down to watch a Mac game.
I'll watch a Mac game. There's nothing else on. If I'm at the gym,
Can
I'll
we
watch.
start a segment, Mac Attack with Paul?
I could deep dive the Mac. I could.
The Tuesday night.
I could.
Tuesday night.
I could-
Mac
Yeah,
Attack.
it's
I could
just,
do a
it's
live.
solo show.
I
of
could do
him,
a. I
yeah.
could do a live like while I watch. Okay,
Mac
so
Attack with
this
Paul.
week I've been waiting for a month for Toledo Buffalo. Are you guys ready? That would be.
I think it'd be fun.
That would be the best. the best mid-tier football podcast of September.
I would. Well, it's like, isn't it in October when they really get into Mac?
Yeah. The Maction is the best midweek thing until Thursday Night Football comes along.
I'm gonna bring back college football hangover, so
Cool.
we'll have multiple shows.
Yeah.
Like that.
All right. Well, next week, find some more NBA talk. We'll have Super Bowl recap, AAF preview. Find another segment or two to power rank. See you then, guys.